something interesting that you'll end up doing quite often, especially with younger kids, is introducing them to new text that they may never have come across before. Now, firstly, what exactly is a text? A text is any piece of information, usually written in a certain language, that needs interpreting. So, for example, it could be a radio advert, a TV advert, a print advert, a police report, a book. Anything that's got information that is generally considered a text. Think textbook, I suppose. Now, if you're introducing a new text to students, like, for example, how to write a menu, on the very first, you wouldn't jump straight into students, let's say year threes, you wouldn't jump straight into them writing a menu straight away. You'd need to introduce it in a structured sort of way. And there's probably 4 things that I think are really important when you're going to introduce something that's new. This is important, by the way, for all the different types of introducing anything that's brand new to a student, whether it's a text or a new piece of information or a skill. Firstly is to familiarise themselves with the text, with other examples that have been done. So in the case of a menu, you might start talking about or showing, handing out menus from McDonald's and local Chinese restaurants, or a wide variety, just to give students an idea of what they look like in the real world. We call those authentic texts, things that come from the real world that aren't made for educational purposes, and they're extremely important. Modelling and demonstrating exactly what you want students to do. If you want them to write a menu, it's important that towards the beginning you model or demonstrate exactly what you want them to do, whether you've done one on the board for them or whether you've made one at home that it can be blown up. That's really important. You could make it and do it in front of them, or you could have one already done at home and bring it in and show them, and then of course you could use that one in the year after as well. Another interesting thing to do here is to use examples from past students in the class before or in the year before even. You can also get a lot of cool stuff like that just by Googling it. Make sure it's engaging, make sure you're doing it in the most interesting way possible. If you're teaching a group of year 9s who typically don't do too well as far as behaviour is concerned and you have to write essays, well, make sure it's relatively interesting. Try doing something like a police report instead, something that might get their attention. Think outside the box. Remember that just because it's an essay doesn't mean it has to be an essay. You can get them to write an essay by dividing it up into 10 questions and then suddenly, bam, they've got an essay. Really, that's one of the most important things in reducing behaviour, is making sure that your curriculum stuff is spot on, engaging and motivating. Linking from previous experiences, relatively important. Probably not as important as these 3. It doesn't always happen in the real world, but it is important to say, well, you know what, last lesson we did this, link it, this lesson we're going to do this, instead of jumping all over the place. That's important when you start looking at how you're doing your programming as well, and how you build on knowledge from the past into the future towards a goal. A goal at the end of the year might be, for example, to be able to read a level 10 book, and at the moment you're at level 3. So you're building and letting students know that this is how, over a period of time, we're heading towards a goal in the end. Okay, introducing new texts.